President Emmanuel Macron is on his first state visit to South Africa. He will be welcomed by President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Union buildings. Now, among the discussions will be the global response to COVID-19 as well as strengthening partnerships between the two countries. Well, speaking to us ahead of the meeting is foreign policy and security expert Professor Anthoni van Nieuwkerk. Professor, very good morning. Thanks so much for your time this morning. So let's just talk very quickly about why this is an important visit. What are we expecting to come out of this?
Yeah, good morning, Uveka. Thanks for the invitation. It is an important visit because France has a powerful presence globally and in Africa. And South Africa has determined its relationship with the French as a strategic partnership. And it spans across economics, politics, security cooperation, defense cooperation. But what seems to be the trigger are twofold. The one is our president went to France the other day to attend a meeting called by President Macron of African leaders to talk about how Africa's oppressive debt burden can be relieved to make it easier for African nations to counter the economic impact of COVID. There was a conversation, and I'm not sure what the outcome is because it's a high level. And it depends on the IMF, the World Bank, the Americans and others to actually do debt relief. And then very soon after, Macron is coming to South Africa to talk maybe on a continuing line about this COVID-19 impact. And the discussion here is of strategic importance. There will be a visit to University of Pretoria where there's a program on how to make vaccines. Yeah. And the question are the countries that produce vaccines prepared to release the patent so that others, the receiving end, can participate in accelerating the manufacturing of vaccines at the same time. Yeah. And so the global north, countries like the French and the Europeans and the Americans, are very reluctant to let go of this ability because there's money involved. And the South Africans, on behalf of the global south, are saying to the north, but this is an emergency, this is a global health crisis. Let's do something, let's work together here. And so this, I think, is the strategic importance of this visit, but it's not the only one.
Well, let's put it in context of that then. And we know South Africa, India as well, they're the countries pushing for that intellectual property protection for COVID vaccines to be waived. We also see that President Macron has been pushing for a transfer of technology to enable production sites in poorer countries. So what exactly then do we expect those talks to center around? What exactly are we expecting his support to actually come to, given our needs at the moment?
Let me guess that I'm not privy to the inside conversations, but let me guess that there's a political game being played here, and there's pressure by Cyril Ramaphosa and those that he represents, which is the countries of the global south, and in particular Africans, to a very powerful northern country who has a presence in Africa from colonial until now, post-colonial. Why didn't you assist us in turning this crisis around by allowing others to manufacture vaccines, including Africans in Ethiopia, in South Africa, in Nigeria? There are 4 or 5 countries that are standing by to do this. It'll be a diplomatic breakthrough if they can announce at the end of this wonderful visit over 2 days that indeed there's an agreement in principle. And I suspect that this will happen because a president doesn't take time out of his busy schedule under COVID conditions to fly to another continent to make it's not about flying the flag only. So this would be an enormous step forward for managing the global crisis, and I think both leaders will get kudos if they can make that announcement. Well, and I must say it goes against, the stakes are high. It goes against very determined vested interests in the developed world where they want to push manufacturing of vaccines themselves. Yeah. They're prepared to distribute faster or to export better or to lower the tariffs and so on, but that's not what we want. We want to produce these things ourselves.
Okay, and he's also expected to discuss the crisis in northern Mozambique. We know the troubles there in the wake also of a French energy giant Total suspending its work there in that massive gas project we know that was underway in Cabo Delgado province, and after those attacks that we saw happening in nearby Palma. Now, especially with our President Cyril Ramaphosa involved in those SADC extraordinary Troika summit talks with regard to Mozambique, what do you reckon Macron's request might be with regard to Moz, or what is it that he would want done there? Are we expecting that that's going to be top of the agenda as well?
Yeah, so the other issues that will pop up, I mean, 2 days are very limited. But they have working groups and ministers talk to other ministers and so on. They will discuss the economy and investment in South Africa. You know, these are two heavy trading partners. South Africa is the biggest African trading partner for the French, and we import a lot of stuff from France and a lot of investment here. I mean, they are iconic projects. Just think of the Gautrain, for example, or Kusile and what is the other one called? Medupi. Coburg, that is about to be given a lift to extend its life cycle. These are French projects, but they have an interest in oil and gas in Africa in general, and in the latest discovery of gas fields in Mozambique. Total has been given is looking at the terrorism and the violent extremism and is saying this is not safe. Our investment is not safe, and until the Mozambican government can ensure or assure protection for our workers and the workers in that gas environment, we are withdrawing. So there you are, a very important defense and security agenda item that will definitely receive the attention of both leaders because, by the way, the meeting yesterday of SADC ended inconclusive.
Yeah.
What they decided to do, and our president was there, SADC decided to have yet another summit later in the month to make a decision. So the stakes again are very high. How does the region work together as a region, but also with international partners to overcome the scourge of violent extremism? And the French are right there. They've got overseas territories, Mayotte, the Indian Ocean Islands. They've got a military presence there, and we have cooperation with the French, naval cooperation, so defense cooperation. And it might just be that these two presidents offer SADC or President Nyusi of Mozambique extend a hand and say that we have hardware that can be used to deal with violent extremism in northern Mozambique.
Professor, if I can ask very quickly for us to reflect very quickly on his visit to Rwanda, before he arrived here, and that visit was meant to sort of reset ties, make things okay, smooth things over with the country, especially with France being accused way back of being complicit in the genocide there. We had survivors wanting an apology from President Macron, and he did apologize, but then denied that France had anything to do with the genocide. So it was like a kind of, I'm sorry, but, and how do you think that went down with Rwandans?
Yeah, allow me to say, I don't know how much time we have, but I'll try and keep it short.
Not too much. If you can do it very quickly for us, please. Yes.
Yes, the French presence in Africa is not without controversy. It's a post-colonial, country, and its presence in West Africa and elsewhere in Africa is frowned upon by many. And so there is complicity in the genocide in 1994 in Rwanda. The French should have done something much more definitive. They should have intervened stronger. They had a presence as they were cooperating with the genocidaires at the time. And more than an apology is needed to restore the relationship. In fact, how do you do that? You build economic ties and partnerships and build up the country on this side.
All right.
This is what I think the Rwandese want, more than just an apology.
Thanks very much, Professor Anthoni van Nieuwkerk, just explaining it to us, the importance of this visit by French President Emmanuel Macron today.